Hello, Younger Oldie here and welcome to my channel. What I want to discuss in this video is safety checks for your bike, and it's just a simple daily routine which you can do just to check, make sure your bike is safe before you set out on it. As and when you do these checks depends on how often you ride. You know, in the summer I'm probably riding daily, so I just give it a quick little check every morning before I go out. Probably once a week, or when I clean the bike, or if I'm going on a longer journey, I'll give it a little bit more of a thorough check, just go into a little bit more detail. If I'm going away on holiday or a tour, I will give it an even more thorough check, because hopefully I don't want to get any problems while I'm away. If I spot any problems when I'm doing my check, at least it gives me a chance to get it sorted before I actually go away. Now, I'm not a mechanic, no way, I wish I was more mechanical, but you don't need to be a mechanic to check your bike. It's just simple, obvious sort of little routine to get into just to make sure your bike's safe. So stay tuned and hope you enjoy the video. Normally my bike's kept in the garage, so the first check I'll do is I approach the bike, and the first thing I'll do is look to see if I've got any leaks. I make sure the the garage kitchen, yeah, the wife would kill me if I kept the bike in the kitchen. I make sure the garage floor is clean. Then obviously if there's any drops of oil or anything like that, I can plainly see them. So the first thing I check is there any leaks anywhere? Now, if I'm riding the bike on a daily basis, I'm not going to go into a real big thorough check. I tend to just use the acronym BLT. Think of a sandwich. And B is brakes. And to do that, get on the bike and push it forward. It's going nowhere. And then I sit on the bike and do the same with the rear brake. And if I can't move the bike, I then know obviously the brakes are working well. Now, regard the lights. Lights are on this all the while, so yeah, I can check the lights. And there, check that the beam's working. If I come round to the back, I can see the brake lights are on. I would then also put my hand there, and then you might not be able to see now because of the camera, but just by squeezing the brake lever, I can see the reflection on my hand of the brake lights are working. Tyres, here again with the tyres, what I tend to do is just give them a quick look at, just make sure there's nothing obviously stuck in them, and squeeze to make sure we've got sufficient pressure. And for a daily check, that's what I would do. While I'm at it, I'd also just give the indicators a check, just to make sure everything's working. Quick toot on the horn, and we're good to go. Now, if I haven't rode the bike for a few days or a week, or I'm going to take it out and give it a clean, I'll give it a bit more of a thorough check, and for this I use the acronym BEST COPS. Now, B is the brakes, but this time I'll sort of come down and I'll get on the floor and I'll actually have a look in the calipers. Sometimes you have to get down and shine a torch in there, and actually just to make sure that we've still got some meat on the brake pads. Another thing to watch out for is the fact that just supposing the brake fluid starts to go down, don't just assume it's going, don't just top it up. There's a reason for it going. One is, obviously I check all my pipes, make sure we've got no leaks, like the banjo bolts there. But think of it this way, once the pads start to wear a little bit thin, obviously the pistons are going to compress the pads, so this level is going to drop. So if you see this level dropping, don't just top it up, investigate why it's dropping before you do that. E would be electrics. And then go check all my lights, check everything, electrical connections. I'll check the battery and just make sure the terminals are nice and tight and there's some grease on them. S, well there's actually two S's, but the first one I'll come to is suspension. And here again, you know, I will depress the suspension, bounce up and down on the bike to make sure that it's springing back and it's not notchy. T would be tyres. This time I'm going to inspect the tyres in a lot more detail. You know, turn the tyre around, give it a good check. You'll actually see that on the side of the tyre in places there's, can't see it from here, but a little diamond. Follow that diamond up and there, where my fingers, you see a wear bar. Now when that is level with the top, your tyre's not got enough tread on it. Legally we need 1 mil of tread and it's got to be 75% across the width of the tyre and 100% around the tyre. I will then check my tyre pressures to make sure they're okay. Do not look at the number on the side of the tyre. That is the maximum pressure that tyre is meant to be pumped up to. It will vary on bike to bike. Sometimes you've got a sticker on the mud guard which tells you. Failing that, you know, check in your handbook and it will tell you the correct PSI or bar, whichever method you use, to make sure that your tyres are correctly inflated. Okay, so that's BEST. COPS. Well, the C, while we're here, is the chain. Actually, have a look at the chain. I can't pull that off. That seems pretty tight. But also check how much movement we have in the chain. Here again, your handbook will tell you, and obviously, if necessary, adjust it. If you don't know how to do it yourself, just take it in and have it done. Obviously this bike's a single-sided swing arm, so it's a bit fiddly with the C-spanner, but you don't have to worry about making sure the tyre is aligned straight. On the CBR and the ZZR, obviously it's a double-sided swing arm, and there's things which you adjust to make sure the tyre is nice and straight. There's little markings which help you make sure of it. O would be the oil. Likewise, I'll then check the oil. On some bikes there's a dipstick, and other bikes there's a little sight glass where you can actually see the oil level. This is a dipstick on this one, on the Kawasaki. It's a sight glass. One thing to do is make sure the bike is upright. This is on its centre stand. When the bike's leaning, if you're looking at your sight glass, you end up seeing where you can't see the oil. As soon as you tip the bike up level, then the oil level will rise. Okay, P would be petrol. Obviously make sure you've got enough petrol in the bike. The next S is suspension. This is where, if you've got a centre stand, this is easy to do. If not, you need to jack the rear end up, but let's just push down on the bike so the front wheel is off the floor and then turn. Now if you can feel any notching there and it's not nice and smooth, you've got wear in your headstock bearings. It's also a good idea just to make sure that while you're doing that, checking that none of your cables are fouling, here again, which could cause you problems. Most of my videos are just about being safe on the road, and this one is no exception. As I stressed before, I am not a mechanic. If there's anything which you're not sure about doing, please just take it in and get it looked at properly. Don't take any chances whatsoever. The simple things I do on my bike, yeah, I feel confident to do them. I'll do my oil changes and I will adjust my chain. I will not change brake pads and things like that. I would sooner go in and let that be done by a professional. It just gives me more peace of mind. So You know, always remember that golden rule: if you can't do it yourself, if you're not confident, just take it in and have it done by a professional. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you do, please leave any comments. Subscribe would be nice, it doesn't cost you anything. And anyway, thanks for watching, and as always, ride safely and bye for now.